And welcome to the Game Corner. It is the post E3 2015 show. I am Nick Jerzak.
And I'm Erik Jaworski.
We'll be joined later by Connor Jordan as well, and we're going to join in Mr. Spencer Strouse in just a minute here. But E3 is just past. We've got some major things to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was absolutely awesome, Erik, don't you think?
I definitely gotta say, there was definitely a great lineup. Just all around, I think it's just a great show. A lot of great games that are just brought here and there. I think just the energy of it all, I think, was even much better than last year. And heck, I was even not too far from E3.
See, I don't think it was better than last year, though, because I think last year when they were announcing all of these new games that were going to be coming out onto their systems, that was a lot more exciting than what we got this year. But you know what? We're going to introduce Spencer into the call here. He can give his opinions as well. And, we'll go from there.
I know. I was able to watch the live stream here and there on like the website or whatever. Even YouTube was doing this. Some of the coverage I saw, I think mostly was possibly Bethesda, a little bit of Microsoft, mostly Sony. I think that's all that I saw. And a lot of just like replays. Yeah. Especially.
Anyway, welcome to the Game Corner, Spencer Strouse. We're doing our
post
E3 2015 Game Corner podcast. So,
cool.
What were your initial thoughts on E3?
Well, my thoughts on E3 as a whole, I feel like it's really losing steam for me. Can you guys hear me okay, by the way?
Oh, yeah, we can hear you just fine.
Okay, perfect. As a whole, I feel like it's kind of like lost relevance because you don't want, like you see Fallout 4 getting, like, announced, like, 2 weeks prior to, like, you just don't want your game to get, like, buried in, like, everything that happens in E3. So, like, I never really, like, have super high hopes anymore. Like, I feel like 2 or 3 years ago, like, I was always, like, super pumped for it, but, like, now I'm just kind of like, this is kind of fun because, like, I get, like, a podcast from all my favorite video game websites, like, every day for this week, but other than that, like, I just don't really care about it.
Actually, I have noticed that, too. Like, I was talking to a friend of mine who was, like, excited for, like, you know, the Assassin's Creed Syndicate and how that was, like, released, like, a couple of weeks ago itself.
Yeah.
And even though it was interesting to see some more stuff, there was like, I kind of think I saw some of the stuff just from that preview. But I feel like, I don't know, with, like, Fallout 4, at least with, like, E3, not only do you see, like, the trailer all over again, but you also get to see a little bit in-depth of what is in the game that you didn't see from the trailer itself. So you gotta give that credit, too.
You know what? We're going to talk Fallout 4 a little bit later down the line. I've actually got some great things to talk about here. And the first of which is, I think that there has been a total lack of new games that have been coming out for any of the systems at all.
Do you just mean new, or do you mean like new IP?
Like new intellectual properties. There's a lack of new games that they've announced. Most of the games that I think announced were at this year's E3 or actually at last year's E3 too, which is extremely disappointing. And the fact that when you go up to when you saw the Sony press conference and the head of Sony said that this is the year of the sequel and the revamp, and it's just like,
Thank God, finally that year.
Should we really have a year of the sequel and the revamp?
Mm-hmm. Honestly, I could see that. I mean, I'm not surprised, especially with this new next-gen stuff that's going on, like how last year started with, like, Last of Us, and then earlier I think there was the Devil May Cry Remaster Edition, like Final Fantasy X. I think Devil May Cry 4 is coming out this week, and then, of course, we got the Uncharted collection coming out in the fall, that I'm not surprised at a lot of these. And, yeah, wasn't it, like, last year that they even had the Master Chief collection, like just a collection of all these remakes or remasters of the previous
Halo
films?
Games? Yes, it was.
So it doesn't surprise me that, I don't know, that we're seeing a lot of these remakes or sort of remasters of like previous titles, or especially exclusives with people who might have switched over to, like, you know, from Xbox 360 to PS4 or vice versa, who have not gotten to play this game, and of course to see even what the next-gen graphics can bring to such an old game, or even just a recent game, to be honest. To just fine-tune it, I suppose.
Now, Spencer, I don't know what your history is with video games. What was your first console?
I don't really know. I guess like the first one I can remember is like the Sega Game Gear and like the Sega Genesis way back when.
Oh, okay. So that's what we're
That's
dealing
really
with.
old.
Yeah, yeah, I've been playing. I mean, but then I was just like a kid playing them. I've been like following the games industry for like since I was like a sophomore in college, probably like more closely. Um, I really don't play like a ton of games anymore. Like, I mean, I I'm playing Dark Souls for like the fourth time now because I just want to play that game over and over and over again because I think it does so many things right that so many games these days do wrong. I'm really cynical about the games industry, by the way. But overall, I guess I own a PS4 now and a PS3, Xbox 360. Like I own everything from last gen, and then I own the PS4 from this gen. Um, yeah, yeah.
So let's talk some PS4 then.
Okay.
We've got Destiny, which was the big thing for last year, and now it's the big thing for this year when they introduced the Taken King. Does anybody have any patience for Destiny anymore? Because they said it was going to be a 10-year project. Do we really want to be playing the same game for 10 years?
I think, well, especially now that they've already released some expansions like the, oh god, I'm blinking with them, like the House of Wolves and another one. That's, I don't know, I was able to re-download Destiny. I haven't played it yet, but I feel like it's just possibly, it will probably get tired down, and it wouldn't surprise me if it like cuts out early. I'm just hoping that this like DLC or whatever they're providing, if anyone who previously bought like Destiny or especially got the season pass, that they don't have to pay for this edition. I pray, because it would just be annoying to like pay more money for this extra DLC that's going to be a big deal, or if it's going to be its own separate game, then that's just going to be annoying, to be honest.
I hear you there, and I mean, I don't think that they would make it into a separate game. I think that this is downloadable content. I think that you're going to, every single piece of downloadable content, this is literally going to be one of the biggest games in terms of memory in my opinion. It's just going to take up a whole bunch of space. I don't think anybody's going to have except for the extreme fanboys and fangirls out there, I don't think they're going to have the patience. I didn't have the patience after a couple months of it, just because it had poor storyline. The gameplay was good, but it wasn't good enough to keep me tied in and keep me going. So, who knows what's going to happen with Destiny down the line.
I mean, I probably, like, since I haven't played it in a while, I might give it a try again, replay the character that I have, or just tune them up. But yeah, I definitely can see myself just like, huh? Oh, okay.
Spencer, did you play?
Yeah, I probably dumped like 15 hours into Destiny and like probably had fun once, maybe. I really didn't understand, like, I guess like the fun I had in that game was like me and a couple college buddies would just like hop on, have a few beers, and just like shoot the shit for a while doing like literally menial tasks, like literally like there was like, because so I played World of Warcraft for like a good chunk of time, and like I was big into like raiding and everything, and I thought there was like a certain like gorgeous aspect to like these like 5 or 40 people or however many you end up having, just like working together and trying to like solve a problem. And Destiny, like, in my opinion, just had none of that because there was no problem. Like, I'm not like worried about dying. Like, I'm just gonna keep charging in there until like so I'm not excited for any more of that game, but I guess some people might be, so good for them.
I know, like, Dan Kamisi, our former roommate, he's been playing Destiny a lot. That's just been crazy. Hello?
No, he's not on the line.
Oh, okay.
Anyway,
I thought...
No, I was sending a call out, but it must have timed out.
Okay.
Yeah, Skype is really rough sometimes. I'm sure you guys know that.
Well, our other co-host is going to join us a little bit later, but he didn't really say when later was going to be, so I thought I would try.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's continue.
I'm gonna save this next one until later because he will have a fit if he misses it.
Which one is this?
Mass Effect Andromeda.
Oh yeah, definitely save it.
What?
Yeah,
I didn't even know that existed.
It's one of the big names from this year.
Was that like the only?
Yeah.
Was that at EA's press conference?
Yeah, it was
it
at
was.
the Bethesda part.
No, it wasn't
Okay,
Bethesda.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't Bethesda.
The BioWare part of it, you mean, maybe?
EA is part of it. BioWare is part of EA, Eric.
Oh yeah, I forgot about EA. You're right. Yeah, never mind. I forgot. I felt like I was missing a certain company. Never mind. Continue.
But let's take a look at this game. Was really great. The very first one was really great when it came out. Great narrative, great characters, everything like that. And now I think it's going to be an Xbox exclusive. It's The Rise of the Tomb Raider that is going to be coming out on Xbox One. You see a much more mature Lara Croft. She's no longer trying to just survive. Now she's actually going into her first tomb raid, so to speak. So it seems like it's going to be an interesting game.
I agree. Did you guys play the first one?
I played the first one, yeah, and it was definitely a great game. I enjoyed it much. Just sort of like, I don't know, it was just like the character herself and just the situation that you're placed in. The gameplay just really thrilled me to like. I honestly never played the Tomb Raider series before, but it was just like, yeah, this seems like a typical Tomb Raider, kind of like a female version of maybe Indiana Jones. If that would be a good way to describe her.
Yeah, I felt like it was like a really good blend of like the Uncharted like a guided thrill ride, but it also had like some cool like Far Cry open world aspects to it.
Exactly.
And and then I also just like thought Lara Croft's the character was pretty dope. So
Gorgeous.
So I gather it's like an Xbox One like limited like timed exclusive. It looks like. I don't know. I'm probably not going to invest in Xbox One just for that, but I don't know. It seems like a pretty good get for them, in my opinion.
Exactly. Lucky Xbox Ones.
Well, the Destiny expansion is going to be one of those PS4 they're really harping on PS4 players to go after that one. There's plenty of exclusives that are going to be for PS4 and not for Xbox One, but that's a different story. I know,
but it's like those choices where it's like, I really want to play that game, but I'm really annoyed I got PS4. It's that situation.
Yeah.
So it's a win and lose situation.
Well then, speaking of exclusives, the Final Fantasy VII remake I think it's going to be exclusively for the PlayStation 4.
Oh god, yeah.
And I think it might just be timed.
Timed?
Yeah, I think they would have made it
for something else later.
I think it might. Yeah, I think it might come back for Xbox One later. I mean, they would have made a bigger deal about it being exclusive. I think at the conference is going to be like fully exclusive, because like even when they get like a timed thing, like they like talk it up a bunch, or maybe like we were just supposed to assume it's exclusive, but I think it's going to be timed.
I don't know. I'm looking at a list here, and though it says it's for PS4 right now, but it doesn't like say it's going to be exclusively for PS4. I can imagine it might be on Steam a little bit later. I think it's just that PS4 gets the first access to Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
the remake.
I'd buy that.
And apparently, it's not only just like a remake, but I think it's like a reimagining where they're going to be changing a few things around with the story, which I guess I might be alright with, but I'm still, I don't know, like I still remember like watching the movie, playing a little bit of the original video game and all the side games. So I'm like really curious how they're going to try to reimagine like, the Shinra Corporation or the characters, but honestly, I'm just excited for it.
Well, considering that according to the PlayStation head developer that this is going to be the year of the sequel and the revamp. Let's consider what other kind of classic remakes we want to see. I mean,
I think that Final Fantasy VII is going to be coming out this year. I don't think so. I think it's going to come out in 2017 to celebrate its 20th anniversary, possibly. That's just my guess. So it's not going to be this year, unfortunately. Just saying. But yeah, continuing with the remakes.
With more remakes, I think that it would be fun to just bring back some of those old classic characters that PlayStation has just kind of thrown under the bus for a while. You've got Crash Bandicoot that you can harp on. You've got Spyro the Dragon. You've got Ape Escape.
Do you guys know if they can get all these characters? Because I mean, like when they came out like All Stars Battle Royale, like they had a lot of trouble like acquiring the rights to a lot of their characters, just because so many like studios that were with Sony in like PlayStation 1 era are now like out like as like legitimate third-party developers, and Sony didn't have good contracts back then, so they don't have like the rights to like a Crash Bandicoot game right now, for example.
I can imagine maybe like with Naughty Dog, how especially close they are with PlayStation, that maybe there might be like a remake collection of maybe the like Jack and Dexter games,
That'd be
which
pretty
I really
cool.
enjoyed.
I mean,
Those were like my favorite.
Uncharted, which is something we'll talk about down the
Yeah.
road, is definitely it's Naughty Dog, and it's something that is going to come out for Xbox One, not Xbox One, PlayStation 4 exclusive. So that could be a turning point to say that they are partnering with Naughty Dog to get these kinds of games, which means we could get a Crash Bandicoot game. It would very well be possible for us to get one of those.
Yeah, that's a good point. Activision's now like more in bed with PlayStation or Sony now, so
Yeah.
who knows?
I mean, another classic game that's going to start getting revamped is the new Tony Hawk's Pro Skater that's going to be coming out.
Really? I did not know.
Yeah.
I did not hear that.
It was at E3. It's going to be. It sounds like it's fun. I kind of want to play another skating game. I haven't played one of those in ages. I think the last one I played was Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3.
Yeah, I remember playing like those underground games. I'm just hoping that maybe they might I just want to hear Superman by Goldfinger all over again.
Oh, that was in the first game.
I know, but I know I doubt they will have it in the remake because they'll probably have like other sort of like rock or
More
alternative
trendy
songs.
ones now.
Yeah, but I don't
They
know,
might-
just like
yeah.
maybe just to play it as a homage, just please maybe have some good like old '90s rock alternative music, please.
Well, I
That
mean,
would be
you have
really
to
cool.
you'd have to consider what the skating, what skaters actually listen to, because that's
That's
the
true.
primary audience for this. And a lot
That's
of
true.
them, I don't think, really would listen to all this indie pop sort of stuff that we did on
Yeah,
VIC
exactly.
radio.
Yeah, no doubt. Maybe like a few, maybe like Chelsea Dagger or maybe some Radiohead, but yeah, maybe not too much.
But I mean, classic remake that I definitely would want to see because I spent so much time on it back in the day was Legend of Dragoon. Frickin' it was a 4-disc game. I got to disc 3. I was pissed off.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah, I remember you were like replaying it when you brought the when you got the PlayStation before.
Yeah, I bought a PlayStation 1 and then it broke. I was very, very upset.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking at like my old collection of like PS2 games, and yeah, I definitely know the Jack and Dexter collection. That's definitely one thing I hope. I don't know. Like we really got Final Fantasy X, but I don't know. I want to see maybe if they might do Kingdom Hearts like a remaster, even though that's already got a remaster for like the PS3. But I hope they do it for the PS4 right before the third Kingdom Hearts.
Did anybody see anything from Bandai Namco at E3 this year?
Dark Souls 3 produced by them? I mean, they're just like a name they throw on there, but
They're doing Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. That's the
Okay.
only thing I see.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything from Project Soul, and Soul Calibur 5 flopped when it came out.
really?
God, it's been so
my
long.
god,
You're
it was
right.
awful.
Yeah, it's been so long. When was the last one that came out? It was like
Soul
2000.
Calibur 5, that was back when we were
2000.
sophomores.
Or you were a sophomore.
Well, I was a sophomore, you were a freshman.
So 2012?
Yeah.
Okay. Wow, yeah, that's a long time. Oh, goodness. Yeah.
Harping on even more remakes, it looks like Nintendo is going to start doing some new things with their intellectual properties, and they're bringing out a new Star Fox.
Yeah, I think I didn't see that, but it does look like it. Because I think they have sort of like a little re-HD for like the 3DS, but it definitely seems like a new sort of like coding of the original Star Fox.
Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty by the books of the 64 version of it.
And I think that will definitely satisfy a lot of their fans. Nintendo, in my opinion, really, really stole the show this year because they did a lot with their properties. While they may not bring in a whole lot of third-party games into their systems, they do a lot with what they own, and things like Fire Emblem is going to be coming out. They're going to be having some more Paper Mario and Mario Brothers type things coming out.
Yeah,
So
that.
it's one of those things where if you know what your audience likes and know who your audience is, then you can really do wonders with things like that.
That's fair.
Let's go into the realm of first-person shooters and take a look at Star Wars Battlefront.
Holy cow! Does that game look gorgeous?
It looks amazing.
It looks gorgeous.
It looks like twice as good as anything else I saw. Like,
it does look great. It does, but I'm a little cautious about it because if something looks good, it may not look good when it comes out. I remember like when the original Watch Dogs when that came out, it looked gorgeous, but then it had a downgrade the next year. And the one thing that I noticed was, I don't know, like when you see people playing the game or whatever, that you see players that are actually playing, like what they did with Tom Clancy and the Rainbow Six Siege. But with Battlefront, it just looked way too perfect, way too clean, that just this seems way too scripted.
Like a movie.
Exactly, which is are you sure I'm watching a video game? I feel like I'm watching I don't know, another remake or the re-edition that George Lucas does that just makes a battle seem so much better. So it does look good, it does look awesome, but I am cautious about what is to come, whether if it'll really be that good. Not to mention how it's only doing the original trilogy and how they don't even have that many maps for when the game comes out, as I've heard. So I will wait. It does look great, but I'm just holding my expectations.
I'm actually pretty excited for Star Wars Battlefront. It's the last time we had a Star Wars shooting game, or even a real great Star Wars game, had to be The Force Unleashed, and it's fun to play as the Jedi and the Sith and everything like that, and really have those kinds of powers at your disposal. But when you really think about it, going into, especially with The Force Awakens coming out, having this game out is going to be a lot of fun. And it's going to be fun to play as the infantry and actually go into shooters like this.
I mean, there still have been, the only Star Wars game that has been out for the past couple of years was, the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, but of course that's only mostly for a PC game.
Oh, it is only PC.
But with... nothing for the consoles. I definitely agree that this might be the biggest thing that we've seen since The Force Unleashed, and so it does look exciting. It wouldn't surprise me if it gets a bunch of pre-orders. In fact, I think there's a lot of pre-orders already for it.
Bet.
Again, I'm just holding caution to it, even though I am excited for it.
Another exciting game, and this is one that the Sony fans have been holding on to since last E3 when it was announced.
I think I know what you're talking
about. They were waiting for it to come out this year. It didn't come out. It is Uncharted 4.
Oh.
I mean...
The Last Guardian?
No, I was thinking, that too, but no, there's another one.
The Last Guardian wasn't announced at E3 last year.
Well, it's been announced before. That's for sure.
But Uncharted 4 was the big game that PlayStation fans were looking for this past year, and it didn't come out.
I mean, I think it's coming... Well, yeah, it's definitely been delayed, but I think it's coming out, early next year, if I'm correct. January or February, I want to say. So, unfortunately, it does not... Oh, no, it comes out the end of March. Oh, wow. Yeah, we still got a while.
We still got a while to wait, but it from what I've heard, the Uncharted games have been key classics for PlayStation fans, and I haven't played it just because I've always been Xbox up until the new systems were released, because Xbox completely bombed their Xbox One release at E3.
Yeah, the
what
original
was it?
time.
A couple years? Was it last year or a couple years ago?
It was a couple of years ago. No, I think
2012.
I think it was 2012. Or no, 2012 or 2013. One of the two. But yeah, I definitely gotta agree. Where I've heard about Uncharted, but didn't really know too much. But then, kind of I want to say the same thing I had with Last of Us, where I hear there's a remake coming, and a lot of people say it's a good game. Then I check about it.
This isn't a remake. This is a sequel.
Well, no, but no. Well, okay, yeah, this is the sequel, but they're also coming out with the collection.
Oh, yeah.
Which has the first original 3. That's I'm okay. It's given me a chance to play through these games actually like months before this game comes out. So I get to play the first, second, and third, and possibly when I get done with the third, depending what else I get during that whole holiday rush, that I'll be able to play Uncharted 4 right at release, which is a good time thing. So I'm really excited that this 4-game pileup is coming up soon. And I definitely can't wait to get involved with this Indiana Jones video game.
Yes.
Enough said. A man of simple words.
Another game that is going to really, really harp on this sort of action and adventure sort of thing is the new Horizon Zero Dawn, which is going to be coming out, and it really plays forward to people who were looking for those female leads. I remember the last time when we were doing the non-gamer podcast, we're talking specifically to people who don't identify as playing games, and a lot of them, being female, wanted to see more female leads because they feel like they've been completely cut out of playing video games because of this.
I think there has been, like, I do agree, it looks like a fantastic game, and she does look like a great person. There have been like some female leads in video games, but of course, like, the Lara Croft, she was like sexualized. But the recent Lara Croft, the Rise of the Tomb Raider one, like, that definitely was a good lead there. Last of Us, even though you play a main character in the DLC, you play Ellie, and she's just a tough woman right there. So it's definitely been on the rise, that's for sure.
Are we talking about how the fact that it's kind of becoming like the year of the female protagonist?
No, not quite.
Not quite what we were talking about.
We were just talking about Horizon Zero Dawn, and you know what, Connor, since you're here, I want to fast fire, get your opinions on a couple of things since
All right, let's go.
Lack of new games, that PS4's or PlayStation's exec has said this is the year of the sequel and the revamp. Thoughts?
Can't say I'm too surprised since
It's like Hollywood.
Yeah, in the when you're sinking so much money and time, as games are increasingly becoming this big AAA thing, that they're gonna try and stick with more recognizable brands. But also, I will say that I think some interesting things are sort of come out of the works in terms of new IPs as well. Like, I remember the whole internet's kind of on fire about the Unravel, the Yarn game, but
yeah.
I'm not super. I'm Unraveled.
Oh yeah,
The cat made a yarn. It looks so cool.
I'm not super hyped about it, but I'm at least interested. Like, I didn't feel like this year was a death knell for originality or anything, and if it, sequels, remakes, and all that, it didn't bother me here.
Okay.
So,
next,
right,
Destiny, the Taken King. The fact that Destiny is a 10-year project, this is the next step in it, which is the Taken King. Does anybody have any patience for Destiny anymore?
I wish I could love Destiny, because it's got some very interesting gameplay, but like, it was very clear, the sort of behind the scenes problems that went down, and there was an AMA with one of the developers on Destiny that ended up getting taken down pretty fucking quick, which hinted at some bigger problems like writers leaving, the project sort of changing direction, late stages in things, and like, basically, if they can get things back on track and actually make and actually come up with a story for this thing, because the only, like, Destiny has it's really fun gameplay. I like a lot of the MMO and RPG elements they've put into the FPS, and I really want to like it, but with a narrative so all over the place, disjointed, and frankly shit, I can't really get into it until I start seeing more of what we saw in the build-up towards Destiny's initial big push for release.
Okay, possible Xbox exclusive Rise of the Tomb Raider.
I really enjoyed the revamped Tomb Raider. I want to play this one. But I can't say I feel too strong one way or the other, because I think the only... Like, it's good for Xbox, but, it's kind of bad for everyone else, really.
Speaking of... Oh, go ahead.
Becca was fucking pissed, though. I don't know if I've seen her that mad. She was so butthurt. She's like, well, now I gotta go fucking buy that shit.
Speaking of remakes, Final Fantasy VII getting its remake on the PlayStation 4.
About damn time.
More classic remakes that what would you want to see for a classic remake? Because PlayStation alone has tons of intellectual properties that were originally released on the older gen systems like PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 that definitely could use a remake. Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Legend of Dragoon, please give me Legend of Dragoon. Just others that you'd like to see. Oh, I forgot Bloody Roar. I want to see another Bloody Roar.
That's tough because, I'm someone who, before I sort of switched over to primarily console, I was big on the PC RPGs, games like Ultima and Wing Commander, Planescape Torment, and I'd love to see those get remade, or, remastered, really, because, but I just don't know how well those would sort of gel with the modern sort of expectations of gaming, because while those games really, pioneered telling a story in a video game, there's a lot of very old school shit that people might find very frustrating, and so it leaves me kind of nervous as to how those could be done, in a way that that anyone could pick up and play, but it would still do it justice. So ultimately, I'd have to say those kind of things, like an Ultima or a Wing Commander or Planescape Torment, I think, especially because that's kind of a standalone. But that comes with a big asterisk,
Mm-hmm. New Star Fox. Thoughts?
It seems very Star Fox 64 inspired, and I'm okay with that.
Star Wars Battlefront. Erik says that it looks a little too cinematic. He's almost skeptical of the fact that it might become another Watch Dogs, where we get something beautiful at E3 and get shit at the end.
It might be, and I'm hoping it isn't. I will say DICE tends to be pretty good on delivering what it is they're showing. For better or for worse, considering it's usually Battlefront. But yes.
Okay, good. I don't know. Yeah, especially I feel like there's going to be a lot of DLC that's going to be coming out for a lot of the gameplay. That's my thoughts.
Yeah. EA hasn't done anything to piss anyone off in a year or two, so I guess it's about.
They're due.
Yeah, they're
did.
about due.
Yes, they did. NHL, where they released the game.
No one
yeah.
cares about
Anything.
those fans.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
And
I'm
FIFA.
sure you and the other three people who buy it are very.
The online community's up in arms about that game.
I'm pretty sure I could Google fucking NHL controversy, and I would not come up with a single fucking video game. I'm sorry, Nick, but they haven't done any. They haven't earned their worst company of 2013 award. In a little while, so I guess they're about to. But I don't know. I'm really liking what I'm seeing, and I'm optimistic because that gameplay footage was fucking beautiful, man.
Mm-hmm.
Uncharted 4.
I really loved Uncharted 2. Uncharted 3, not quite as much. It looks pretty fun, although I will say the fucking the game fucking up.
That was funny though.
That was incredible.
Wait, what happened?
at the press conference, like they were gonna try to play the game live, and then
The game.
like they went through like the opening cinematic thing, and then like it got to like Nathan Drake standing there where they're supposed to start like playing, and he just like
And
stood there for like a minute, and then they restarted it.
The control responding.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
And I'm just like, wow. Could you have fucked up the first
Yeah.
impression anymore?
And
Oh,
then
well,
after Uncharted brought us to Horizon Zero Dawn with the idea of female leads, and the fact that the company who's releasing this one actually did a study seeing, because they thought it was going to be a huge gamble to get a female lead into this role here.
Well, isn't this the same company that's done all those Killzone games?
Yeah, Gorilla.
I will say that was very interesting because I'm just kind of like, oh shit, this is new. This is I'm kind of liking where this is going.
Me too. I think the game looks fun.
Yeah.
It does. I can't wait for it.
It's like Robot Monster Hunter or something.
You're hunting gigantic robotic dinosaurs.
Yeah.
What can be possibly wrong with that?
Yes, I agree.
It's like
Every little child fantasy.
Yeah.
it's like Gundam meets Jurassic Park.
You mean fucking Zoids?
Zoids, yes.
Oh god. Oh god, Zoids. I forgot about those. Can I I need to rewatch.
I'm the king of obscure ass references, man. This is why you have me on the show.
I remember I used to have a toy.
Yeah, fucking Liger's, like
I had a
Liger
Saber
Zero, Saber Liger.
I think I had a Bulbasaur figure, but anyways.
Anyways, Connor, you will be happy to know that we saved this until you got on here.
Good. I know exactly what was coming, and
Mass
as I'm calling
Effect
it, I'm like,
Andromeda.
I hope they don't talk about this shit without me, especially because I'm so hyped about this that I can't wait, and I'm making a fucking Mass Effect tabletop game to tide me over.
But I mean, we've been dying for a new Mass Effect ever since the last Mass Effect left
Fuck
a
yes.
sour taste in your mouth with that ending.
Yep.
But they only just had a trailer for it, just sort of like a reveal trailer.
Yeah,
Or
but it
teaser.
confirmed a lot of the stuff I'd been hearing, which, I'm just glad to see something concrete. And,
Okay.
more stuff is going to come for sure, but I remember some people analyzing, like, little snippet frames of it, and they're seeing, like, the guy shooting at you in the trailer, and it's like, oh my god, those are Protheans, and it's going to be a prequel, and I'm like, asshole. Think about it for more than 10 seconds, and you'll realize that that's kind of impossible. For, like, 8 different reasons, other than the fact that they straight up told us it's a sequel.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I'm excited. I really want to see what they're doing with the whole idea of colonizing a new galaxy.
I
And,
know.
yeah.
Oh,
We'll just
anyway,
have to wait and see.
by the way, Connor, Spencer, Connor, he's our other
Nice to meet you.
co-host.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Connor.
Trying to steal my spot.
True.
He didn't steal your
Good web.
spot. You were just late.
I'm sorry I had to have dinner with my family. Jeez.
All right, what next do we have?
Next is another sci-fi game, which, I mean, they've shown things with this where you've got PvP and PvE all coming together in one sequence with, like, I think 12 players playing at the same time, which is Halo 5, which it looks like it might be fun. For the first time, I'm saying that Halo might look a little bit more fun than just being this simplistic shooter that everybody was fanboying over while they were in middle school.
I
Shots
think
fired.
I think you don't give Halo enough credit because if you go back and play those earlier games, yes, it's kind of a simplistic shooter, but you forget that it kind of brought the shooter into what it is. It kind of was the revolution of the shooter for the modern consoles.
Okay.
Not to mention, if you actually, the story of the Halo games and the lore of that universe is really fucking good. It's really interesting.
Dude, and that trailer, man, like the cinematic trailer that has, I don't know, it looks pretty cool.
I'm still hung up on the one where they had Master Chief wearing a fucking cloak, and I'm like, what?
You mean all of them?
I'm like, what goddamn? It's like, what goddamn? You can't get fucking heat stroke. That shit can. Apparently, that shit can handle re-entry just fine. What?
And like that little cloak is like the saving grace too. It's like, oh, thank God I have my cloak on.
I haven't seen the.
I don't exactly imagine Master Chief to be a very dramatic guy who's wearing a cloak because it looks cool. So what fucking reason?
It sounds like Eric's connection is dying down a little bit, so he's lowered the volume is a little bit lowered for him. Erik, what were you saying?
No, just saying that I didn't see this year's Halo 5 Guardians trailer yet. But from what I don't know. Again, it's a sequel. What's the premise again of it? I forget. Blah.
I don't even know. Halo 4 just took it into a different direction than what all the others were doing.
Halo 4 was... Well, first off, that was just like the year of bad writing in video games. Because Halo 4 didn't make a whole lot of sense and was kind of difficult to follow if you hadn't read the novels.
Yeah, I was like really confused.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I hadn't heard that before.
They talk a lot about the about things like the Didact and the Forerunner Shield worlds and all this stuff that gets brought into that game without, they never really bring it up in the games. It's more of a thing that's explored in the novels. So they didn't really do a very good job at introducing that concept, and not to mention how the Halo 4 drinking game, finish your drink every time the Infinity comes in to save the day.
It actually brings up the fact for a shooter, and now you're going into I'm talking now about a first-person game that's going to be coming out, where you are running from gunfire, but you don't fire guns yourself at all, which is Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
That just sounds like it's added an extra challenge to a game that's already going to be really difficult.
Well, Mirror's Edge wasn't really, a shooty game to begin with.
Yeah, I was going to say.
But, the thing... this kind of made me the way they're presenting it here, it kind of made me give a damn about it a little bit, because the first Mirror's Edge was kind of a fun thing, although I will say the parkour stuff in first person, like that platforming in first person is always a bitch. And it, but it turned out to be like a fun little thing, but the lack of a story or, real gameplay depth. It was kind of like Titanfall. It was a good skeleton of a game, but you need to have all the meat and stuff to hang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I didn't play it, but
it seems like they're adding onto it, giving you a story, giving you something to really sort of sink your teeth into. And if they provide on that, they might do something pretty awesome. And I'm liking what I'm seeing so far.
Okay.
One of the developers that I think really stole the show this time around was Bethesda, bring about a Doom remake. They're going to be.
I was excited about that.
They were talking about the Elder Scrolls Online, which just came out. I've got that. I've been playing it. And while I feel like it's the best way that I can describe the kind of disappointment that I have. I don't hate the game at all. By any means, it's Elder Scrolls. It's me. But
I did just because they delivered on absolutely nothing they promised on.
But the Elder Scrolls Online feels like say you want a thing of chicken noodle soup for lunch or something like that, and you say, you know what, I really wish I had the chunky kind, and all you have is the Campbell's condensed. That's kind of what it feels like.
Yeah,
I've
already lost some interest in it. It's like why I haven't played it that much.
It's pretty weak sauce, man. It's like
it is
watered down diner pasta sauce. It's, this little, if you squint at it sideways, it's what I asked for, but otherwise it's just kind of meh.
Yeah, I don't know, just I was just trying to think. It was like, what really got me into like Elder Scrolls, like Skyrim or Oblivion, and I don't know, just how there was as much detail.
Not fucking this.
It was the depth of the story and the depth of the characters that you ran into in those original games.
The really
that really
fleshed
pulled you in.
world.
I think, like, as much as you want it to be like online, which can be fun at times, but it just didn't make it feel personal, to be honest. Where it's like he's like, "Oh, you are the savior," but then there's like so many other things.
That's the hardest thing in the world to do with an MMO, and it's why I ended up quitting World of Warcraft, which is at a certain, those games, you still have to feel like you're the main character, or at the very least you're making a big difference.
But
whereas, at a certain point World of Warcraft lost the plot and it started feeling like instead of, you're the guys, you and, these 20 other guys are the ones who take down, like, Deathwing. Like, holy shit. It starts feeling like you're pinch hitting for the guys who can.
At the same time, I mean, they took a lot away from the Elder Scrolls in this one, in that they took away the Thieves Guild, they took away the Dark Brotherhood, they took away Daedric quests, and while I don't want everybody running around with a fucking gold brand, it would be really nice if I could do some semblance of these kinds of things.
Yeah, it's just it's a problem of not delivering on what they promised on, like the Daedric invasions were supposed to be this huge thing, and it's really small and not at all intimidating or epic feeling.
Yeah. Is it becoming a card game now? Like this, like Elder Scrolls Legends? Are they trying to do like the whole?
Yeah, they're trying to do Hearthstone. Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a big thing lately.
I'm just kind of watching that, and I'm like, wow, something Blizzard didn't have to steal from other people for once. People are cribbing Blizzard. Holy shit.
Yep, it is pretty funny.
Because, like, as someone who played World of Warcraft really religiously, and then played StarCraft really religiously, I'm like, StarCraft is like, so this is just reuse assets from when we were making a Warhammer 40k game, right? It's like, yeah, like Blizzard very rarely has like an original idea that works out super well, but Hearthstone, like, I'm kind of surprised to see people emulating it. I was kind of surprised it became a success, though I do not think Elder Scrolls, fucking whatever it's called, I don't think that's going to catch
Legends?
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, can we take a minute and think, like, can we come up with a more generic epithet for a game than saying Legends, Saga, something that implies a narrative?
Online?
Legacy, maybe? Would that work?
Maybe, but Legacy implies that there is like a future generation and all that.
That's true. Spencer,
yes.
Are you a Elder Scrolls fan?
Not really. I've been sitting this one out because I played like a little bit of Oblivion and a little bit of Skyrim, but there's just so much going on in those games, and I just get overwhelmed really quickly. I played like a good chunk of Fallout, and that Fallout 3, which is probably like my biggest step into like the Bethesda style of gameplay. I'm pretty excited for Fallout 4 though. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, speaking of which, Fallout 4.
It kind of fills a void that we kind of have right now in the consoles of just like a huge open world RPG kind of game. So, yeah.
And the fact that we're going to be able to start crafting in Fallout 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Not just to like just your guns, which might be in it, but just like your village. It like makes it feel like Minecraft.
I was gonna mention that because did you the thing that I noticed like the second after the game was over, apparently like Anita Sarkeesian tweeted, "Oh, the crafting system looks really cool. Could you imagine how much better it would be if it wasn't so focused around killing other things?" And I'm like, so that defeats the whole point of playing Fallout, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just an interesting add-on.
And they actually had to add on after they showed it, no, your dog can't die.
Thank goodness.
He's invincible.
As always, kind of like the Fables dog.
I was going with the dog from Independence Day.
Oh, that too. Boomer. Yeah, I'm excited for Fallout 4, especially with new gen. I kind of even was sort of predicting the story even from that revealed trailers. Like, you seem to be a character who used to live before like the whole nuclear fallouts, and then comes back and meets a dog, has a dog, whatever.
Yeah, but that's the
I'm a little sad that
every Fallout.
I just really wish
kind of like
that,
how,
I
how
wish
every
Fallout
single,
was more like Mad Max.
Every single Elder Scrolls game, you start out as a frickin' prisoner. Every single Fallout game, you start out as some guy who lived in a vault and used to live before the nuclear
Yeah,
fallout.
what is it with
Vegas.
Bethesda and like starting you off in like a jail of some kind?
Some fortification. I don't know. Guess you're from rags to riches, I suppose. But no, speaking of Mad Max, yeah, they do have a Mad Max coming out, which I'm actually kind of excited for.
I hear that the vehicle play is going to be huge.
It should be. It's fucking Mad Max.
The entire movie.
It looks like possibly, I don't know, sort of like fighting style, like, especially since it's by Warner Brothers. It looks like Shadow of Mordor, but with vehicles.
So I've heard that it's like a pretty okay like B game, but it's gonna get like a ton of hype because of like how awesome the movie was, and people are gonna be expecting way more than they should, and then it's gonna be like, well, this is a serviceable game, but like could have been so much more because like now the movie has set the bar so high.
Yeah, now that it's got a couple sequels.
Yeah, well, the most recent movie.
Yeah,
the one that's
what I'm
fresh
saying.
in people's mind.
No, it's planned to have some more sequels. I'm saying.
Oh yeah, okay.
That movie's crazy because like that's not
I
supposed
love
to.
it.
That's not supposed to happen. George Miller's a fucking grandpa now.
Well, he's
70 years old.
Yeah.
The other developer I felt that really, really, really stole the show was Square Enix with that Kingdom Hearts 3 gameplay trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Looks
I do think
great.
like they're still teasing it just a little too early.
Yeah.
Because it's
I think so too.
According to Nomura, it's like a couple years from being playable, and I wouldn't want the hype to die down from what it should be for fucking Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah.
But I really like how that looked.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, one of the things I noticed is how, like, again, they had the characters talking in English, so it gives me an idea that maybe it's coming close, that they're doing the English dubbing now, or unless they just like, oh yeah, this is the trailer they were making, so we just need someone to do it.
They might have like
Eric,
vertical sliced
I
the
don't-
English for that trailer.
I don't want to burst your bubble, but they say, even though they had announced it at last year's E3, they're just saying now that it's in production.
Oh. Well,
Yeah, here's the thing.
Also, I've heard
Like,
It's getting closer. It's getting closer, though.
Yeah,
That's
no-
voice
what I'm saying.
acting's done first too.
yeah, Nomura said straight up that, you know, this is years from being at a releasable state. I don't know why they why they jumped the gun on the
hard?
yeah, why they're
That's-
like we gotta push this for SummerSlam. Like,
I love when directors talk shit about like studios.
he wasn't even talking shit. He's just like, I'm confused.
It was.
I don't know. I think they're still putting work on Final Fantasy 15, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Although no, they I think they boot Nomura off of that.
I don't
did
know
they?
exactly.
Yeah, I think they changed directors. I'm gonna look into that.
I
while
believe
we're-
they. I
don't know
believe that
the
they
details.
did. But you know, it actually went to the big criticism for PlayStation 4 for this year, which is where are the games that are going to be coming out soon? We have all of these titles that are
Hajime Tabata.
2016, 2017.
Yeah.
Where is our fall of 2015 games?
Mm-hmm.
Everything is in November.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's either November, which maybe those third-party games, which doesn't surprise me. But if you're talking about like exclusives, either it's going to be a lot of just like those remakes, as we kind of mentioned before, that this is the year of remakes. It wouldn't surprise me if like sometime at like was it like Gamescom that they'll like release like a trailer for a remake that'll be coming out in the fall. So that might be the reason why he said like this is the year of remakes, because they don't have anything like coming out.
We got nothing else, so
Yeah, we're just to help you out, to like give you excited. Here's some older games with better graphics, which you probably want to replay again, that you probably did enjoy or want to try out finally. But the original IPs, we're still in the works.
Speaking of original IPs, let's switch over to Xbox One for a second with Gears of War 4 coming out, and that's just going to be on the hype train like crazy.
Meh.
I don't know what to say.
Really, is it though?
I don't know that many people who are like, fuck yeah, gotta get me that Gears. Like,
I know people were going crazy for the remake. That was for sure.
I mean,
but
Gears of War has been a staple for Xbox, kind of similarly, but not to as much of a degree as Halo has been. But it's also been a major staple.
It's definitely been an icon.
So
it's
kind of like Kratos for PS4 or PlayStation. Yeah.
I mean, I never really got huge into the Gears of War series, but I think it's going to be one of those ones that's going to be a major player sometime soon down the road.
I've played Gears of War 1, 2, and 3, and I enjoyed that storyline. I played Judgment Day, and I just could not get into it. From what I saw in this trailer, it didn't seem like I was really watching, their full works. It seemed like it was still in production. I don't know if it was just the video I was watching where it's like I couldn't see anything in it, but I don't know, just like it didn't really drive me into it yet. Just like, okay, we got Gears of War, what's going on? People searching for stuff. What is there? New monsters, okay, but nothing that really said, oh yes, this is something new and innovative for Gears of War. I don't know. It just didn't hook me up. Maybe they might show something next year.
Then let's talk about a game that's going to be so colorful that if you even look at it while you're high, you might go absolutely nuts. It's going to be No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky looks like it's going to be fun. I mean, I have no idea what it's going to be about. It might just be one of those Minecraft-type games where it doesn't really have a huge point.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the exploration point of it is beyond compare.
I think that's why I've seen, like, in videos or that GameSpot video, where it doesn't seem to, like, have anything yet that's still in its early stages, but kind of like Minecraft, how when the more people will play it, then they'll sort of, like, develop upon that sort of thoughts. That's what it seems like.
Well, that's a weak stance for a game. If you develop it while you're getting your fan base, that's not a good idea.
But no, like, they're keeping the like sort of idea of exploration big, but if they're like adding story or extra elements to it, then maybe that might be what. I don't know exactly. It does look like a good game, but I haven't put too much attention to it yet.
Connor, Spencer?
I think it looks okay. I guess. I also just don't really see like the point of it. I feel like it's a game like I would pick up and then play for like a little while and be like, well, that was really cool that someone made that. How much did it cost them to make that? Because
$60.
$85. They're making a ton of money back. I don't know. It doesn't seem like I'm gonna play it that much because it doesn't seem like it has a ton of purpose to it. And I like my games that have like at least a little bit of purpose,
Yeah.
Yeah, more or less what I would say on the subject. So,
well, then another game that looks like it has very little purpose, being put out by Nintendo this time around, Mario Builder. I mean, I assume that you're going to see people come up with the most complex maps that you've ever seen for the game in your lifetime. But I mean, what is it that you want to do besides that? I mean, it's
simple.
You're
repetitive.
Purely building things using the Mario universe. I'm lost.
Some people are really hyped for that game, though. Like, I also am kind of like, well, I feel similarly like No Man's Sky. I'm glad this exists, but like I can't see myself investing that much time into it. But there are people out there who are super stoked for that. And I mean, look at the following Little Big Planet has, and probably everyone who plays that game is looking forward to this game and wants to move over to
Well,
that game. So I mean,
that's more of a puzzle type game where you're trying to figure out how you get from point A to point B. But
Well, isn't that just kind of like Mario in a way itself? Just get to point A, point B, but just try to avoid as much as you can, like any original old video game.
no, you
Mario's
this-
probably more timing based. I agree, but I feel like it's got a little similar following.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that, Spencer.
Yes, that's all I wanted.
I think the biggest thing that Xbox was trying to show off this year was their tech,
Yeah.
and
Surprise, surprise.
they're
Microsoft
really
wants to show off their
Yeah,
they're really scraping for the fact that they are. I think they've fallen behind Sony so badly. Now they're making their Xbox One backwards compatible. They're introducing what they're calling the Elite controller, where you can basically customize your controller to the point where you're the most comfortable one playing it.
it's like $100, right?
It's 150.
150.
Oh my
yeah.
god, that's insane.
That,
Yep.
for a controller, nonetheless.
Yeah,
And
for a controller.
I mean,
The console's like $400.
the fact that you're
Yep.
the fact that they're just trying to make Xbox One backwards compatible now so that they can include Xbox 360 games really speaks to the fact that they are not winning the so-called console war that has been going on since they announced the Xbox One.
I don't
But does
know.
that-
I feel like the Xbox backwards compatibility, that's something that
Might
a lot of
work in their
people were.
favor.
That's something that people were kind of annoyed wasn't there.
Well,
Just-
for both PS4
Yeah.
and Xbox One back in the day, but I feel that it gives Xbox One maybe a slight advantage for especially like for people who own an Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Well, guess what? You don't need to have that Xbox 360 anymore. But apparently, it's only limited to certain games at the moment.
Well,
Yeah, they have like
so
a
it's
long
not-
list of games that it works for. It's interesting.
It was that way for Xbox 360 as well. When they finally
For-
made that backwards compatible, only certain games would be able to work on the Xbox 360.
From like the original Xbox, right? I
Yeah.
kind of remember that too. There's only like 10 of them too. It wasn't many.
Actually, I remember how it was like I was able to play an Xbox game on my console while other of my friends couldn't play it. It was always interesting.
Oh, whoa, really? That's
Yeah, different
Yeah,
versions
it's-
of the
that-
Xbox 360
that's-
couldn't do it.
what? That's
Yeah.
incredible.
So I feel like again, it may give a little boost, but at the same time, it gives the question: does the Xbox One need to make any remakes then?
If you were,
So
I mean, if you were going to try and intend this in the first place, why not try and make it for the original release of the Xbox itself?
yeah, exactly.
That
No, that's a very good point, and I do think it does say that they're. Here's the thing, though: they are starting to pick up momentum again. At least the last 2 quarters, they've been closing the sales deficit. Like, been selling better than the PS4, though the PS4 still sold more by a huge margin.
Well, that's because PlayStation 4 has had these huge security breaches thanks to frickin' Lizard Squad. I
Yeah.
want to beat the living shit out of every last one of them. But,
You're still mad.
Yep.
well, because they keep hacking in. It's like, Sony, did you not learn your lesson yet?
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. But it's an interesting question to see how this outcome will turn over for Xbox.
Let's go back to games, and let's look at a game that is going to be probably the funniest game that has come out in a while. South Park: The Fractured But Whole.
Well, not in a while. The original came out a couple of years ago, but yeah. Oh God, I'm excited. I'm yeah.
Eric, I believe it was I who said when we did the South Park: The Stick of Truth
Game Corner.
game corner
Yep.
that they would do superheroes next.
And yes, you did bring that up, and I think I said I kind of agree with that because kids, they have different games they play. It's like, oh, today we're doing Warriors. Oh, today we're gonna do superheroes. And even it was in that trailer where it's like, oh, we're playing the wrong game. Okay, we're playing superheroes now. We're playing superheroes. So it's just like,
And even in that trailer, it was funny that they mentioned that they broke the fourth wall. Like, they don't want anything lower than a 9.5 on GameSpot.
Yes, and it's like, there's not going to be any flashbacks in this game, or I don't know what exactly, but I am excited. Has it been announced what day it's going to be released? I feel like maybe it's going to be next holiday.
I'm going to double check. I'm going to look up the Fractured Butthole.
It's definitely not going to be this holiday, but I feel like maybe either next holiday, or if it's going to be not next holiday, then possibly during the spring, like it did with that huge delay with the original game.
I think it's all going to really depend on what they're doing with the game, because they're going to make it an RPG, as it was the first one. But it also depends, are they going to do the same turn-based RPG style? Are you going to be doing like this side-scroller sort of jumping, you're going to be jumping around and fighting sort of thing?
Yeah.
It really, you're not exactly sure what's going to be happening there.
So this who's making it?
It's Ubisoft.
Okay.
Ubisoft.
Yep.
Even they made the joke about, it's like, the turn-based gameplay was stupid, or I don't know what exactly was a little bit off. But either they might try to figure out how to add upon it or fix it up with maybe some little extra items here and there, whether it might be like, I don't know, mini games to add to it. I don't know, but we just have the trailer of at least the idea and concept, which I'm excited for. We'll have to wait for the gameplay in the future.
And the very, very last game that really pinged on my radar, which has ignited the new music games to basically come into a war of their own, is Rock Band 4.
Woo!
I mean, thank God, I've been asking for a Rock Band 4 for a long time, and they've already given us details about how it's going to be more dynamic. It's not going to be about just playing the music anymore, because that's not what an actual rock band does. There's all this drama that happens on the side of it. They might even give us a little bit of a story. It looks like it's fun. And plus, if you pre-order on, I think, Amazon or GameStop, you get like 30 songs additional for a pre-order bonus. It's like...
That's good.
That is
That's a lot of
beyond amazing.
songs.
I think I kind of did predict this, where even though it has been a while, where it was starting to die, especially with Xbox 360, where it's like you were getting Guitar Hero 1, 2, and then, of course, Rock Band and all these other like side games like Metallica and Beatles and all that. I'm kind of glad they do have it for the new gen.
Rock Band didn't do that as much as Guitar Hero did.
Guitar Hero definitely did a lot.
Guitar Hero really oversaturated the market. Meanwhile, Rock Band did a lot more focus on developing new DLC.
But they still did have some spin-offs. They still had Metallica. They still had
Metallica
the Beatles.
Was Guitar Hero.
I thought Rock Band was pretty canonical with their numbers.
Rock Band had 2 spin-offs. They had the Beatles Rock Band, and then they had Green Day Rock Band.
Oh yeah, maybe that might be. I thought. Oh yeah, maybe it was.
I think you might be right. There.
But Guitar Hero, you had Guitar Hero World Tour, you had Guitar Hero Aerosmith, Guitar Hero Metallica, you had all these ones that were coming out within months of each other, and it's just like, whoa, slow it down a bit.
Yeah, so I'm kind of glad it's coming for the new next gen, and especially with this new concept. So it was kind of good to have that sort of break or that pause of like, not having any of these rock Guitar Hero games and now seeing, these new concepts or things to add upon it. That's just not, here's new music.
I'm making a future call for a Barbelters.
Yes.
Yep, and I'll definitely be glad to join you right there.
Spencer, since you don't know what Barbelters is, it was a show that we had on our college radio station. It was, think of songs that you would sing to really loudly, very badly while you're drinking.
And just have a great fucking time doing it.
It was brought upon when we were playing Rock Band while drunk.
And I just thought to myself, this would be a great idea for a show.
Yeah, it would be. I think it'd be a funny podcast.
But yeah, it's one of those things where I actually have all the Rock Band stuff here. So anybody who wants to come over play with some Rock Band, it would be awesome to actually rock.
Sorry, bro, but if I buy a plane
Next
ticket,
time.
it ain't to Chicago.
Ooh.
Ow!
Not my
Yeah.
girlfriend's in California. I can't justify that to
I know.
myself or her.
But
I know.
it's me and Erik.
This is true. But
Wait, maybe here's an idea. Take a train. Just take a train to Chicago. That'd be a little cheaper.
depends on how long the train ride is, because like that's pretty fucking long.
You're looking at least 17 hours.
Where do you live?
I'm in New Jersey, bro.
Yeah, that's possibly 17, 20 hours.
Well, it connects. The train that we took actually goes.
Okay, we're getting off topic. We're
Yeah.
This
getting
has been
off
Train
topic.
Talk with Nick Jerzak.
Shout out to Tom.
But-
Track.
You know, I think the closing argument that I have this year for E3 is that
Before we get to closing statements, did we talk about The Last Guardian?
No, he didn't.
No, we
Because
didn't.
I thought that was dead. I didn't think that was gonna happen.
I
don't know.
I'm just not
What did you guys-
interested.
Yeah, what did you guys think of it? I was like really underwhelmed by like the gameplay demo. I was like, this looks stupid.
Because here's the thing.
I know
Those
it's
sort
made
of
by the same people that have done like Shadow of the Colossus, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing is, the people who do like Project Eco, those guys, their games don't look super impressive, but they are. They don't look like the most fun things to play in the world, but when you actually get through and play them,
Yeah.
you get a hell of a time, man.
It's-
They're phenomenal to play.
See, it was just like the same thing where with those other games that we said. Just I didn't feel like what's the point? What are you trying to do with this? I mean, you've got this little annoying kid, and you've got fantastic graphics, but
Yeah.
you've got
Cool art
this
style too.
you've got annoying kid, and it's being followed by like a dog bird hybrid.
Yeah.
Okay, what
And I'm really
what are you
curious
trying
what
to
they
do?
would do the lore for. But I think it probably will be an interesting game because as I've played Shadow of the Colossus just a little bit, and how like again it looks very simple and can be like tough to play, or it's like not for like the normal gamer. But I think it'll definitely be an interesting game itself in its market.
Oh, totally. It's the thing is, those games they're not the most impressive to look at, but they're
Gorgeous, beautiful, have
and
possibly good soundtrack.
really artistically impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, those everyone who like is a games or art people are really into those games.
And they fucking should be.
The designs of the lore, the buildings,
All right, send
the
it to frickin'
monsters.
Ashley. Jesus.
I didn't get that, but I think it was funny.
My ex.
I got it.
Yeah,
I
my
got it.
ex-girlfriend is a video game designer person,
Connoisseur.
and she was really big into drawing things for video games. So it's just like, okay, you do you, but this, I know you hate what you call bro games, but this is boring the living shit out of me.
That's funny.
They're the sort of game where like it's a really, really immersive world and everything, but if you're not willing to sort of get yourself into that, if you don't, if you're not the sort of person who's going to buy into that, then it ain't for you.
I get immersed via story. I get immersed via things like
These
Mass Effect
games,
or
these
Elder
games
Scrolls.
do have story though.
It's just
It's conveyed through the gameplay, through the art direction, through the direction of the
Environment.
there's
game,
not even any
rather
talking,
through
to be
the
honest.
dialogue and so on. Because
Yeah.
that's just the way they do
what's the
things.
phrase? Show, don't tell.
Yeah,
And
that's a
it
good way of
shows a
putting it. It's supreme show don't tell.
Meh.
I'm kind of with you on this one, Nick.
I
Kind
don't
of
know. Like I'm in the middle where it's like I
have an
want to,
appreciation for it, but I just not for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll you know what? Me and Spencer are on the same page.
Yeah, that's right. There we go.
I'm in the middle between you guys. So it's like I do appreciate it, but I don't know if it is my kind of game. So I might play it. I don't know. We'll just see. Future.
Hey, at least there's no Watch Dogs 2.
Yep.
No more ruining other people's cities, god damn it.
Yep. Don't.
They've only been
It's
doing it to every other city for so long. Chicago can't dodge it forever.
Yeah, but the thing is, they did a good job with GTA when they put it into like a New York setting or a Miami setting
Or Los Angeles.
or a Los Angeles setting. It's
Oh.
just like
There was so
shit.
much hype for it that was down. Yeah.
Can we really quickly talk about the absence
whoa.
of what? What? Can we really quickly talk about the absence of VR at this? Like, right?
Oh, the VR headsets weren't there?
There's a severe absence of like them like on the show floor stages, and
I think for like the Morpheus and what was the
The
Microsoft
Oculus
one?
Rift?
No, not the Oculus Rift.
the HoloLens.
The HoloLens, yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't know. Like there has been like talk, and especially how apparently you can use the HoloLens for like Minecraft, as I've heard.
Yeah, that was pretty cool
And-
actually.
But yeah, it seems like there's not too much focus on like certain games. Like it might be for like Halo 5. It definitely seemed like there wasn't any for PS4, is what I've heard with Morpheus.
Yeah,
But
it
I
seems
thought
pretty
that was too much.
unsupported, which is pretty crazy to me, given the money they're sinking into that.
I've got the same sort of mindset that the head of Nintendo has, which is I'm unimpressed. This doesn't make the game a social experience. This doesn't
Yeah,
make
I agree.
This doesn't really give you any sort of benefit other than you've fully immersed your own self into this world. And you know what? When you start doing something like that, it actually makes video games kind of dangerous, because when you fully immerse yourself into a world that is so beautiful and so much better than what the real world seems like, then you start losing your sense of where's reality. If you really push yourself, you really start losing what's reality and what's fake.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's fair. There's a thing that I noticed that there's been a lot of like iPhone like games that have been like brought up at E3. Like they had like the whole like again this like Elder Scrolls Legends, then this Minions Paradise and Fallout Shelter, and I think there's even more like this Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. There seem to be a lot of these ISO Android sort of games.
What's even funnier is that the developer for Bethesda said that this isn't a money play.
Even though we're already investing tons of money to play just a simple game.
I think it's even more interesting that they keep offering these things that are like physical things with the games.
Like the Pip-Boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that was really cool.
I agree. I thought it was really cool.
I the amount of I aggressively don't give a shit about Fallout, and I was like, that's pretty sick.
I aggressively don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Make a point to punch anybody who brings it up.
Like, it's like when people start talking about Fallout, it's just like I have the overwhelming urge to leave the room. It's just like, I don't know what. It's the only game that I've ever just like thrown a fucking controller. I got so mad playing it. I just don't. I don't like it. It's good, but I really don't like it, and I can't be, asked to. I can't be asked to care.
You know what? We're going to get the female perspective, and we're going to do the same sort of thing that we did with you, Connor, where we're just going to do quick fire on what Becca likes out of E3.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So
Yeah,
hang on one sec.
She's been excited to talk about this.
Yeah, here we go. Hang on. Okay, are we joined by Becca?
Oh, maybe I can hear you.
We
Yeah.
can definitely
Maybe.
hear you.
Hold up here. Let me turn you guys back up. Hi. Sorry.
No
no.
worries. We were actually getting towards the end, but you know what? I'm gonna do the same thing that I did with
Goodness.
with Connor when he joined into the call, which was I quick fired
Hang
at him,
on, I'm
and then
so
you
sorry.
and then you can give us your opinion. And you can feel free to take your time with your opinions too. Okay.
My volume mixer has you down. Figured it out.
Okay. So, quick firing, first thing was the fact that there is a lack of new games and that Sony's executive said this is the year of the sequel and the revamp. Thoughts?
Thoughts. Okay. Both really, really not a great thing to say at a press conference for anybody, one. And two, it's less, I think, the year of the sequel and the year of the reboot, to be honest. I think it's more or less all of our stuff that we were really looking forward to showing you guys isn't quite ready yet.
Yeah, as I said.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not like
We
a
don't want to
super-
have another Kingdom Hearts 3 incident.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's not like a super hype E3 just because they're not like... It's not one of those things where like Iwata pulls a Wii out of his pocket and says, yeah, you can go buy this shit right now. And it's not like the years past where the hype is negative. And it certainly isn't like the Konami E3 conference
Oh,
where there's
God.
like luchadors slapping each other's tits. Like,
What?
look that shit up. It's incredible. It's the greatest
2010.
Jesus
it's
Christ.
the greatest train wreck ever. It's got a bunch of luchadors slapping each other in the nips. They have
Wait,
this
what
one
was,
dude
what was
like
that game? Rumble Roses?
no. They had like a Lucha Libre video game,
Oh, okay.
and they had one where this guy was just standing like uncomfortably close behind another dude, staring at the back of his head super intently.
Yeah. I think it's okay. They've kind of were not trying to upstage Fallout 4. I mean, they knew that was coming, and they weren't going to try and be like, "This is so much better," because everybody
they're not gonna
at E3
compete.
knew. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to our very first thing, which was Destiny: The Taken King. The fact that Destiny is supposedly a 10-year project. Does anyone have any patience for Destiny anymore? Do you have patience for Destiny?
I honestly haven't been able to pick up Destiny yet, so I really have no comment other than, wow, I would really like to play this game, except I don't have an actual flip-in console for it, so...
You don't really want to play that game.
No.
I do, though.
I mean, it's an interesting game. It's fun to play at first, but then after a while, it gets tiring.
And absolutely
That's
no
all I
story.
would say.
No story at all.
Who knows
So-
if this DLC may include story? We don't know.
It may. That's
we'll
what
see.
I'm thinking. I'm kind of hoping later on, in this series. I mean, they're not going to make it a 10-year project. I highly doubt it.
Okay,
Yeah.
Fangirl in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Mass Effect Andromeda.
I have lots of words. I have so many words. Honestly, it's becoming another Kingdom Hearts 3 incident. I'm really not okay with them, like, having announced it last year. In order to tide over the fandom, they would have just been better off saying, guys, it's in development, just chill. And then releasing it now. Or not releasing it now, but, introducing it now. Mass Effect 3, Mass Effect Andromeda. God. The BioWare fandom is really killing it for most everybody. But fandom aside,
BioWare
I'm really
fandom
excited.
Are kind of assholes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
As a person who doesn't like BioWare
Yes.
games, I can confirm that BioWare fans are kind of assholes.
Yes.
Well,
you know
Heavy
what?
into it.
I am an asshole. Okay, deal with it.
Yep, you are. Yes, you
I
are.
am too.
Nick.
It's okay.
Okay, I don't know if you were going to go over this fangirl over this one, but 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rise of the Tomb Raider being a possible Xbox exclusive.
Oh yeah, I think we heard a little bit about this.
We heard a little bit about this last podcast when I was here. That I was very pissed off that they said that it was going to be an Xbox exclusive. But now that I've seen what's going to be on the Xbox One lineup for the next 3 years, I'm gonna have to get one. And I really cannot afford another $500 graphics card in order to see Laura's hair. So.
Oh, speaking of which, I am actually going to be buying an Xbox One for Rock Band 4.
Oh, and that too.
Not for PS. Not for the PS4.
Is it not for PS4?
No, it is. It will be for PS4, but the only problem is that my $300 to $500 of DLC is all on my Xbox 360.
Oh shit, you're right.
Yeah.
I forgot that all carries over. That's a pretty neat trick.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Well, it's good at least.
But other than that, oh god, I'm so excited. Like, at first when you said fangirl moment here and you counted down, and I was like, oh man, let's talk about Tomb Raider.
Okay. That wasn't that many words.
I have lots of words.
Containing the words.
I'm containing the words from,
There are a lot of topics, so don't feel like you gotta get them all.
Yeah, we got a lot. Still got a lot to go through.
Okay.
So
Woohoo!
So, Final Fantasy VII Remake for PlayStation 4, and the idea that they're bringing out all these classic remakes, or that the idea of classic remakes in general, what do you want to see? I'm saying I want some Legend of Dragoon action. I want some Spyro the Dragon action. I want some Ape Escape action. I want some Bloody Roar action.
Oh yeah, forgot about Ape Escape. You're right.
Oh, I'm gonna
Jack
try
and
and keep
Dexter.
both those two things separate for a second. Classic remakes, yes, please, thank you. I really want to see some really old PlayStation and PlayStation 2 classics just beat the shit out of with amazing graphics and updated storylines and relevant character designs. You said Ape Escape, and I'm sitting here trying to like keep myself contained because I threw so many hours into just a PlayStation Underground demo of Ape Escape. And then when I bought Ape Escape, oh my god. So that's a lot of wasted hours in elementary school.
With very, very bad voice acting.
Yeah, bad at a lot of things.
Yeah.
But I loved it, so I mean, that's all that really matters. Legend of Dragoon series, I know quite a few people that would possibly cream their pants at the idea of a Legend of Dragoon remake. And then Final Fantasy.
Nick.
I got to disc 3 of 4. Give me a break.
And then the Final Fantasy VII remake. First off, I want to know how the hell they kept that a secret so long. Did everybody have to sign like a contract that said don't say shit?
Yeah, it's called a non-disclosure.
It feels like they just hit this point where like the
Maybe building the hype for it, or not the hype, but just like how it seemed like everyone was demanding for it. Then, like, and especially how wasn't it years ago that they had sort of like a demo or like
they did a tech
cuts?
demo
Yeah, that was
when when the PS3 was coming out, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be a fucking Final Fantasy!" And
then they said, nah.
and they're like, "No, we just recreated the scene because And
because we're dicking around."
And
Was
everyone's
it like
just
on April's Fool Day? Or
and everyone's just like, "Fucking, I hate you."
fuck you, Square
Well, the
Enix.
other thing is that it's probably being developed in Japan, so huge distance sort of thing going on there.
I would say
I'm
yes to that, but
I'm gonna say bollocks on that because of how integrated the fucking world of gaming is, and it's not like journalists stop existing in Japan.
that and the language barrier nowadays is getting thinner and thinner, especially regarding Final Fantasy, and it actually originally thinned with the Super Mario, and Paper Mario.
Oh yeah.
And just that whole franchise. There's no language barrier there. It's effectively like non-existent. There are people, I'm sure, that I know that still go on Nico Nico looking for things just to update us with. And that's pretty much how they started their blogs and their newsletters, and because they just went on Japanese websites and translated what they could find that the US market didn't have yet.
Okay, speaking of Japan, new Star Fox.
No comment.
No comment. Okay.
Did you guys see the announcement of that when like their puppets were becoming the Star Fox characters? That was really cute.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Like look up like the
that was
actual announcement of that. It was the start of the Nintendo Directs, and like they all come out as like the three Nintendo heads come out as like puppets, and then they slowly turn into like Fox, Pippi, and Falco, and then that's how they announced it. It was adorable.
Nintendo.
Okay, Star Wars Battlefront. Erik is concerned that we're getting these great graphics, and it's going to end up being another Watch Dogs scenario where we get great graphics at E3, shit on the back end.
That I think is kind of a crapshoot. At this point, it's how many actual games do we have for the new generation? Like, literally. How many games do we have that haven't been formatted for just the new generation of consoles?
Probably
6.
Exactly. So, I mean, I have minute amounts of hope. I do want to say that releasing the concept renders and things like that for young Mark Hamill, not so great. Don't lead with that, because you know that's not how he's going to look in gameplay. But they did, so I really am hoping. I'm really hoping.
If it looks like that gameplay, I'm gonna be,
I'm gonna have to take a couple weeks off of work.
I know, just like, especially how just like it's just
there's a joke I can make
too polished or too perfect or just too clean. It's just like I didn't see a demonstration of like people actually playing a game. We just saw a gameplay thing. That's just it's like I want to see people actually playing it instead of just like a video of what supposedly people are playing. Yeah. And especially it's just like all these events were like occurring one after the other. That just like no one's gonna be like
playthrough.
Yeah, exactly. Like I see like people like at the station, like at the Haas station, the docking station or whatever, and like how they're like standing there, like they're crouched down waiting for the enemy. Is like no one's gonna do that.
Yeah, no one's gonna see that without a fly cam. Yeah,
everyone's gonna be running around.
Well,
like crazy.
The thing is, they clearly changed a couple. They clearly rigged it a little bit just for dramatic purposes, just so Darth Vader and such could be a reveal.
Yeah, obviously. Which that was a cool thing, but still, just like. Just that timing. That's what.
Okay. Uncharted 4.
Yay! I haven't played any of the Uncharteds, but I enjoy hearing people play Uncharted. Or hearing about people play Uncharted. I didn't really care for the game series, but I know a lot of people that just love the crap out of it, so I'm looking forward to them telling me all about it.
Okay.
I'm getting into it.
Yeah.
Then let's look at something that's actually possibly new intellectual property with Horizon Zero Dawn. The fact that it's a female lead, they did testing out there to see if this was too big of a move, and you know what? I think it looks great.
I love the idea.
Hell to the yes.
Yes, mm-hmm. I'm so excited. The first thing Connor will tell you is that the first thing that I said about E3 this year is that it's the year of the female protag. Bethesda did, God, what is it called? Dishonored 2, and they led with Emily. And
oh yeah, that's right.
Honestly, I did not give a shit about Dishonored at all. Dishonored, and then they led with that.
Hard.
They led with that, and I was like, I have to play this now. It's the exact same thing that led me in with BioShock 2. Like, you have a sort of female lead. You're not playing as the female lead, but the companion. She's a main.
BioShock Infinite?
Thank you. BioShock Infinite. My bad.
Which I'm sure most people would rather have been BioShock 2.
Yeah.
So either way.
BioShock 2 sucked, guys.
I don't know. Even though it was a repetitive game, I think it was just like something just to add on to the original BioShock in gameplay, but not in story. That's for sure.
On that note, no, I mean, like, the fact that you had a female lead, even though it wasn't a playable character, and now that we're having more female playable characters, like with Dishonored 2, and then Rise of the Tomb Raider, obviously, and
I think also Assassin's
Creed
Syndicates.
I have a lot to say about the sexualization in Dishonored 2 and how it doesn't
sexualized.
Exactly, how it doesn't exist.
Heavenly Sword or I don't know, any DOA game. But no, I think that also in like syndicates, like even though they heavily have the male character, but you're playing a pair of twins. Mm-hmm. And I think you might be switching around those characters, or you could choose which character you wish to play at certain times. And I think there might be like certain perks where the I'm blanking on the character's name, but I'll just say the male twin, like he probably would be tougher. He's like the big spotlight where he's getting into all these like gang wars, while his sister is more the stealth type and is the one like sneaking in behind and doing stuff behind the scenes.
Well, you could kind of do that a little bit back in PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 sort of arena where you had Tenchu and you could be Rikimaru or Ayame.
For
it was like a ninja stealth game.
Oh, okay. Oh yeah, Tenchu. Yeah, you're right. That's right.
Yep.
I know, just saying.
I'm really enjoying it. I saw Horizon and was like, I'm on board.
All right. How about Halo 5 then?
Looking forward to new Red versus Blue stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
But that's really about it.
That's
I've
fair.
had almost about enough of the Halo franchise, not because it's terrible, but just because it's getting to Call of Duty proportions. Everybody's going to play it, everybody's going to love it. It's going to be almost pretty much the same thing as the last one. Which, if you have a successful franchise that's doing well with what it's got, hey, more power to you. That's what we've got with Madden and FIFA and PGA, and so...
All right.
What you gotta do?
Mirror's Edge Catalyst, not only are you female lead protagonist again, but you've also got no gunplay. Sure, you're going to be dodging gunfire, but you're not going to be shooting anybody.
I was super duper excited hearing that they were going to just do a sequel, but then they did the press release about how it was going to be a reboot without the gunplay, and I'm like, okay.
Oh, it's a reboot?
Really?
Yes.
Oh,
it is not a sequel. It's a completely new reboot.
Okay,
that's fine by me. I never played the original.
It's kind of what Mirror's Edge should have been to begin with.
Exactly.
If they wanted it to be.
Yeah,
okay,
and that's what's got me so excited for it.
Okay.
Speaking of Bethesda, Fallout 4.
I'm not going to be the most likable in this group after saying this, but I did not play any of the first three.
I didn't play the first two.
I've only played the third one and New Vegas.
I've played about 20 minutes of 3.
I don't like Fallout at all.
I played 3 and I liked it, and then I tried to replay it and I couldn't get back into it.
Yeah. To be completely honest, when I played it the first time around for, the 20 minutes before I got bored, it reminded me vaguely of a post-apocalyptic Skyrim. And then when they blew the trailer out, I was like, oh, okay, I love all this concept art. This looks really good. And then they got to the actual gameplay, and I'm like, this is a post-apocalyptic version of Skyrim. Okay.
Except you're using guns.
Except you're using guns. And you have a dog. Oh, wait. So... I was very excited for the mobile game. I have the mobile game. I've, again, played only about 20 minutes of it, but that's because I've been working the past couple weeks. But I think I'm more impressed with how they handled the PR than the actual game itself.
That's the most depressing thing anyone's ever said.
No, because, everybody knew it was going to happen. Literally everyone in that room was there for Fallout 4. You could see it after the Dishonored trailer dropped. They were just like, okay.
Yeah.
What are we here for?
Where they're just like, get on with it!
Yeah, we literally do not care about anything else. Just show us Fallout.
Yeah, skip Doom, skip all that shit.
Exactly. Right. We're kind of excited for Doom if we're over the age of 25. But that is it.
And
also we're frickin' so tired of hearing about Elder Scrolls Online because you've been doing this for the last 2, maybe 3 years.
And it's terrible.
It's okay. It's your typical MMO.
Yeah. Yeah. So, they handled it quite well, and then they said, oh yeah, we're also going to have a mobile game, to which everybody kind of rolled their eyes. And then they said, but we're also releasing it now. And so then after that, everybody was like, oh, okay, I don't have to like wait for it. I could try it right now if I wanted to. So I think that was a very smart PR move, at which you know that everybody at the freaking press conference is going to be dropping mobile games left and right because that is the new Tamagotchi, literally. Like, everyone has to have one. So the fact that they said, oh yeah, you can download this literally tonight for free, that was really impressive. I was loving that. And then they turned around and said, oh yeah, and by the way, our game comes out in 3 months.
Okay, so not so strong of a PR move is Kingdom Hearts 3, where you've got this gameplay trailer, which looks amazing, but then you've got the added point, oh, this is just now getting into production.
Yeah, again, I have lots of feelings about Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm so excited. I want it to come out already, but at the same time, the intellectual properties that they're working with, that they started working with, God knows how many years ago, have changed dramatically.
Yes.
With all the side stories and
with all the side stories, and then the mobile games, and then the handheld games.
How many games have you guys played of that series? I think I've played all of them except for the 3DS one because it was unplayable.
It was fucking hard. It was a fucking
That was
hard
a
game.
terrible fucking game.
That one, and I never played Chain of Memories because I could never, ever get the
Chain
card
of
system
Memories.
right.
Yeah, Chain of Memories. Like, I was fortunate enough to beat it, but yeah, it was just a hassle. It was just tough to play.
I beat that game twice.
I did 350.
Birth by Sleep was fun. It was
a great game. I loved that game.
I did
Birth by Sleep was the good
358 half
holdover.
days. I did 1 and I did 2. And I tried Dream Drop Distance, but I couldn't get farther than... I couldn't even beat the first boss because it was too fucking hard.
The camera control was so bad in that game.
Yes. Agreed. But what I meant more by intellectual properties, I was actually talking about the
Disney?
the Disney intellectual properties.
Oh, yeah.
The past, how many years? 5 years now? 10 years?
Well, no. Well, okay. It's been 10 years since Kingdom Hearts 2, but especially with all these side ones.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's been 10 years.
Spencer just felt old.
Yeah.
We all just felt old.
Yeah.
It's odd, but I don't know. Like, they've been using up a lot. Like, I know they did Hunchback of Notre Dame in Drop Distance. I think Three
Which
Musketeers
makes me so mad.
They did a lot of I know Snow White, Cinderella, slightly Lilo and Stitch, a different version of Neverland. So they've already done a lot of these old Time Disney. I think they've done a lot of them that just the only options I can see is Princess and the Frog, Frozen, Tangled.
Well, they're
which
bringing
is always
Frozen
song.
in.
Yeah,
Wreck-It
no doubt.
Ralph.
Yeah, maybe Wreck-It Ralph.
That'd be
Wreck-It
so
Ralph.
weird if they brought in Wreck-It Ralph.
It would and
That'd
it
be
wouldn't.
But-
Really fucking meta.
Except I think they're
Like, yeah,
they are
so
doing
meta.
They are doing Wreck-It
Oh
Ralph.
shit,
I
you're
believe.
right.
They're
That
doing
would
Wreck-It.
be
Yeah.
They're bringing in
meta.
Wreck-It Ralph. They're bringing in Frozen. You know what would be a real challenge is if they did any of the properties that they brought in, which are live action, like Star Wars or Marvel, that they've acquired within the last few years.
They had
Pirates of the
Pirates.
Caribbean.
Yeah,
Well,
the
they've had
second one.
pirates, but I'm talking about the ones that they've just gotten the rights to, which are the Marvel properties and the Star Wars
for sure.
properties.
I think,
Yeah.
personally, and this is just my opinion, they had such a hard time acquiring the proper rights for Tarzan and Winnie the Pooh in the first couple of games that having them try and roll over Star Wars or Marvel would be just a pain in their ass.
But they
Because
own it.
they own it, but they still need to be able to distribute it in different countries.
Maybe Pixar.
Pixar, I've heard a lot about people, Pixar has opened their doors to them and said, hey, if you want to use it, use it. But the demographic for Pixar is largely United States only. If you go to any other kind of Disney park or store in any other part of the world, you'll find that Pixar is nowhere near as big there as it is here.
I just think it would be funny to have a keyblade that ends up being a lightsaber. Like, you've got the hilt, and then you press a button, and then just green keyblade, and you're just like, well, this is cool.
It would definitely
Does
fit
it
in
have
with
a
the new Star
crossguard?
Wars. Yeah, the new Star Wars movie. Personally, Kingdom
And
Hearts
that's who
3.
Sora's father is. Darth Vader.
There you go.
Sora.
Game over.
I am your father.
Ah, shit.
No.
No.
And Kyrie's your sister.
Damn it!
This makes everything really fucked up.
And I created Donald. Or I know. No, yeah, Donald is. Actually, no, never mind. Yeah, I was trying to make weird like R2D2
This
joke.
dialogue fits right in with the Kingdom Hearts universe, though. It's
It
so
really
fucking
does.
dramatic.
But long story short, the fact that they led the trailer with not only an expanded Hercules world, which you can tell only by the big boss at the end and the minute details in the
Yeah,
rock and the statues,
Yeah, the rock.
that they followed up with Tangled. So the fact that they've kind of teased that they will bring Tangled in is kind of in itself an excuse to give them a little bit longer, because Disney executives are like, hey, we've totally not pushed the cash cow on you guys before, but now we are, because this is like the second renaissance for us. Please, for the love of God, put Tangled or Frozen in there. Please, please, please.
They've
So
already said that they're going to put Frozen in there. I thought they said that.
I've actually heard the opposite, is that they said it was too late to put Frozen in there, so I have no idea.
They just started production, right? So
Yeah.
Too late. The game's not going to come out for like 3 years.
The game
Exactly. I
has
can
been
see
in
them
production.
pushing it. I
Game
can see
has
them pushing
been
it.
in production.
They're going to create they're going to make this into Arkham Knight again. God damn it.
Yes.
Where it gets
What-
pushed
what-
like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which,
yeah.
at this point, I'm totally okay with it because it's actually being worked on. In comparison to the past 10 years when they've only worked on handheld sequels, I literally do not care how long it takes them.
Okay.
Okay. So another Xbox exclusive, Gears of War 4. Thoughts?
None really.
Okay.
I've
fine.
always liked the Gears of War franchise for their character design, but that is about it.
Okay.
Okay, well, we did talk about a couple of more artistic sort of games, which were No Man's Sky and The Last Guardian.
Yo, guys, I gotta head out, unfortunately.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's been awesome. Now I'll hop on some other time too. Let me know when you guys do this.
Yeah.
Thanks for inviting me, Nick.
Will do.
Sounds good.
And Spencer, anytime if you want to play some games, just let me know.
Okay,
Nice
for
meeting
sure.
you.
I'll send you some text or something.
Yeah, cool.
Send me your gamer tag or whatever.
Yeah, I'll post it in like the invite or whatever.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
You
Bye.
too.
Bye.
All right. So
So
back to
No Man's Sky and Last Guardian.
I honestly haven't seen anything on either of these games.
Yeah.
I hear that The Last Guardian is one of the most anticipated games, but that literally is it. I've heard nothing else about it.
Okay.
What was the other one? I'm sorry.
No Man's Sky. It was the one that was announced last year, where you're flying around in a ship and you get to explore various planets, and it's very
Like
colorful.
space Minecrafts, we'll say.
That does look amazing. That I
didn't
think I
see
remember
what
that
they
vaguely.
talked about it for. I didn't see what they.
I didn't see either.
talked about.
Concept art for it was gorgeous.
It's kind of crazy to have like that big of a world all procedurally generated.
Yes, it's a little bit worrying and disorienting knowing that world is bigger than the world that you're playing in right now, or you're living in right now.